Hello and welcome to a race that I previously said was impossible. We'll get into that. So I'm running tilt B controls, all my assists are off, and I use sensitivity 2. So this race was impossible, and some things recently changed that I realized might make it possible. Now first things first, I'm about to take a big illegal off-track cut, and that's because this is about currency. So this isn't about beating your friends and cheating to do it, although I guess you could, but a lot of people know about this. This is mainly about farming, and we'll get more into that. Now, let's get into what has changed. Here's a drop-down screen from a previous video I made. If you have done this race before as an endless endurance race, you know that if I take this first big hairpin cut without slowing down or being careful, the game's gonna totally crash. Now, let's check this out. Let's freeze frame this and zoom in. Okay, well, looks like we'll count them up here. I'll get a picture for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that was the big change. It used to be if you passed more than 4 cars while you were off track, the game would crash, you would lose the whole race, earning nothing for it. So you had to really slow down at that first hairpin cut to not pass more than 4 cars. Like, once in a while you'd get away with 5, but it was not worth the risk. I lost some really epic races because I wasn't careful. So now you don't have to be careful, and that's the difference. That little bit of extra time right here, I don't have to worry about how many people I'm passing. I just go for it. I push this as hard as you can push it, and the game won't crash. So I don't know what they did. They never really knew why it was happening. I don't think they intentionally fixed this, but whatever they did seems really stable. If you've been around long enough, you know that there are sometimes unintended glitches that have happened, meaning that they altered one part of the game and it had an unintended side effect to another part of the game. This is all about available resources and kind of I don't know, it's interesting. It's almost like it's an entity, and if you poke it too much on one side, it's going to manifest it on the other. So I don't know why it got fixed. It's just fixed, and it's been fixed for several updates. And that caused me to realize that this race actually might be possible. Now, there's one other thing that I did to help me in this. My chosen car was actually the McLaren because it's faster, but I just couldn't keep the race going. And the Mercedes does work, but there's a little bit of a secret, and I'm going to show you that in a little bit later here. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. This is super hard. This is arguably the hardest version of an endurance race, an endless endurance race, but yeah, I previously have said that the MP4X at Le Mans is the hardest, and gosh, it's a really close call right now for me, guys. I haven't done this one as much. If I am super careful in the MP4X at Le Mans, even after maximum damage, I can keep going for quite a while, but boy, this race is really unforgiving, the one I'm running right now. Like, you start to get damaged, and it's really difficult. I guess to make it easy, I'll say that they're really close. I want to say the MP4X at Le Mans is the hardest, but you do it enough and it gets easier. And that's probably the case for this one too. But I thought I was super good at this race, and boy, I had to really put in some serious effort, really work on the Maggots, Beckett's Complex, and Chapel Curve section, and also work on how I was taking this hairpin cut. So I want you to notice something, and that is that I go off track a little bit early to the right. I'm cutting this here, which I normally wouldn't have done, and there I'm losing some traction. You need to skid as little as possible while you are off track. You really want to carry that momentum, and that's really challenging, but that's what you need to do. Now, let's get on to what the secret is. So, bring down another screen here. Race location, you can clearly see Invitational Series. You always want to do Invitational Series. 3.4 times more fame. Here's the secret. I'm using the Belgian tuning, not the British tuning. So the Mercedes has better grip and better brakes and better acceleration, I want to say, but you need that extra top speed that the Spa tuning gives you. So you give up a pinch of acceleration, but you gain that top speed, and that seems to be the magic combination for me. The McLaren is just lacking a bit of that grip, and the Mercedes with the Belgian tuning seems to be the perfect mix. And how did I figure this out? Well, I went back. I was watching one of my old videos where I got a Group A time trial in a time trial tournament, which is always harder than the regular game. I placed my time using this car with the Belgian tuning. Now, you see what I just caught there? This is the Perpetual Point. It is not a fixed point on the track, but you see how I'm hitting it really early? If you've seen my prior videos, you know that I didn't have to hit this till 28 kilometers. That's just too long in this car. It's not going to work. Even now, it's difficult. I hit the Perpetual Point many times as I was trying to master this, and I couldn't keep going. So this here, you can't make mistakes. From like lap 4 to lap 7, you really can't afford big mistakes. Like little mistakes, sure, but you can't be sliding off track. You can't really be even messing up a braking point very much. It's super challenging. I don't know that I would recommend you guys running this race because it is really, really, really hard. And honestly, the 2019 cars, it's cheaper to fully upgrade them. No gold costs. And although piles of M costs. But they're faster. It's easier in those cars. For me, it's actually really easy in the 2019 cars. You'll see that this is really, really hard. Now, you see that? I just got hit, just got rear-ended. You got to start being careful now. You do have to start being careful in that cut because traffic is thick. You will generally only get 3 places of overtaking on this track at this point. That is the first hairpin cut, then the cut I just took. You sometimes get 1 car there, and then the last chicane. Once in a while, you might catch up to someone through Chapel Curve and maybe at Stowe. Like here you can see, well, okay, I just blew it, so never mind that. You gotta push it so hard, and so I was pushing it too hard in Beckett's Complex, and that's a big problem. That gets me very worried because, like, yeah, you can look at my timer and say, well, why are you worried? You have no trouble getting to the next lap. Yeah, well, that's true, but the cars just drove away. Like, it's possible I could go through this next hairpin cut and not pass anybody, and I do not have enough time on my clock to finish this lap. So I need at least 2 cars, I think. Let's see what I get here. 45. There we go. I got 2 cars. And maybe, just maybe, I'll catch one right here. I really doubt it, but let's just see. 56. 55. Nope, didn't catch anybody. And you'll notice a tiny lift right there most times, because if you stay full throttle, you're going off into the dirt, into the sand, into the wall. That's no good. It's a horrible spot to do that because this is a huge full throttle section. So, Perpetual Point. Perpetual Point means the point of the race that I could keep going on forever, perpetually. The bots will keep appearing forever. So as you near the Perpetual Point, the bots get further and further apart. Then you have the lonely lap where you don't see anyone for a bit, and then you get a nice tight group of bots, and it just stays that way. In fact, if you run faster and faster back-to-back laps, the bots keep getting closer and closer to a point. It never gets like bumper to bumper, but I've had some races and other tracks where you can run ridiculously fast, where the traffic just gets insane, and actually can be difficult. Like this is already pretty good, and I've got to be careful there. The thing that sucks about the bots slowing down now is you can't get a push, but that's better than them totally slamming on the brakes. And I gotta say it's better than Ghost Nitro. Ghost Nitro is where they used to get a big turbo boost after you passed them and they could just pit you. So what makes it so difficult after the Perpetual Point? Well, the competition that you're facing now is faster than a fully upgraded car. Fully tuned, fully upgraded, full everything. It is impossible to be faster than them on the straights. Like, watch this. Okay, there we go. I'm going to catch the draft. I was in the throttle. How did he pull away? He's going to have the British tuning. I've got the Belgian tuning. I've got more top speed. We're both Mercedes. I was in the gas quicker than he was. I should have kept gaining on him, especially since he was towing me. So this is the way it is. This is true every single endurance race. Once you hit the Perpetual Point, they will outpace you on every single straight. You can only catch them in the corners. You might catch them early on in a straight. See, the only reason why I caught him is because they do a stupid braking point there. Don't know why they do it, but they just do it. And that's That's why I don't like assists very much, because certain assists make you brake when you don't want to. So that's why, big reason why I turned off all assists and got used to driving it that way. Oh, nuts. He was a disappearing car, and I didn't realize that. I tried to catch the draft, and he was slowing down, and boom, I might have just got damaged, which would make this race a lot harder. This is a ridiculously hard race. I guess I've already said that. It's a fun race, and it was a big challenge for me, just something I personally wanted to master. But yes, it's very challenging. The one thing I'll say about trying to master a race like this is that you're going to get faster everywhere else. Like, once you realize how much you can push it through Beckett's complex, that's going to save you time in a time trial. Same with Stowe. Once you realize how little you actually need to brake at Stowe, you'll be faster in a time trial. Once you realize that going through this corner and corner 2, that you're full throttle, you will be faster in a time trial. Now, does it matter if you know how to drive off track or not? Yes, it does actually. First off, cars handle completely differently off track. There's a strange pulsing thing that happens. You'll notice the car pulsing as it turns a little bit, like it turns and then stops and then turns and then stops. I'm holding my steering steady. That's just what it does. If you try to steer too much, when a pulse happens, you spin out. So it is a challenge to learn how to drive a car off track. So again, why would you need to know that? Well, it's beneficial when you accidentally go off track and you need to get back on track. So if you don't know how to drive off track and you have a horrible slide out of a corner, then you're going to be all over the place as you get back on track, wasting all sorts of time and have bots just disappear on you. The better you are getting back on track, the less you have to recover from. Also, you should know that when you go sliding way off track, it does and doesn't damage your car. It damages your car as far as race deductions you'll experience at the end of the race, but it doesn't damage your car in that it will not perform any worse during the race. You might have heard me talk about maximum damage in the MP4X. There are 2 levels of damage. So there's the way your car normally is, then you get a little bit of contact and you'll lose a bit of top speed, bit of acceleration, your braking points will be longer and your grip will be worse. Then you get maximum damage, level 2, and you take another hit on everything. Speed, acceleration, brakes, grip, everything suffers. Now sometimes people say, oh, these cars don't get slower. No, they do, just not very much slower. Where you really notice it in Formula 1 cars is grip. Like what just happened right there, that's where you notice it. That's telling me that I'm too damaged. And now that time, I think I just drove it in too hard. But at a certain point in this race, I have to purposely adjust my braking and acceleration points through Beckett's complex because I take on maximum damage. The thing that sucks about Formula 1 cars is it's really hard to tell if you have maximum damage. In cars that have windshields, it's easy. Well, except for NASCARs. But in every other car with a windshield, you just look at the windshield. If it's full of cracks, you've got maximum damage and your car performance will really suffer. And you probably, if you watch some of my other videos, you know that I'll be checking the windshield sometimes. What's funny is in these cars, if you have a bad enough collision, front end collision is generally what'll do it to you. You'll actually hear the smashing glass sound that happens in most cars. And it's funny because there's nothing to be, I mean, there's fiberglass, but it's the broken windshield sound, which is kind of silly for a car like this. But nonetheless, that's what happens. So, again, let's see here. And I was gaining pretty nicely, so I think I'm still okay damage-wise. They substantially overbrake that section. There's only 1 braking point required, but I think the bots might be braking 3 times. And that's fairly ridiculous. Now, I still don't like this. My time's quite low. I got 1 there. Oh, see? Oh. You got to be really careful to maximize that off-track cut. Now, I'm not happy. I would rather be crossing. I'd rather see my timer fill up when I cross that start-finish line. I want 2 cars. Oh, I'm going to get way more than 2. Full timer right here. Ooh, and a collision. Oh. I shouldn't have done that. A huge T-bone like that really could affect my performance. Generally, what does it for you is when you rear end someone. That's when you usually get maximum damage. Getting hit by from behind will very rarely actually damage you, but a huge T-bone like that, yeah, that probably did some damage. So, gosh, I definitely passed more than 5 cars right there, because my timer was 45. Oh no, it might have just been 5 cars. 45 plus 40 is 85, but it went yellow, which means I passed at least 5. So we'll see here. That was a lovely recovery from a low timer, and now I'm fighting again. It's almost never ending. That's what makes this race stressful. There's definitely races that are less stressful than this one, but you're really limited on your M earning races. Probably the easiest race is in the McLaren 720S at Porsche Short Track. That's a super easy farming race. It's just the fame pay isn't very good. Fame pay in this race is great. Very surprising, the fame pay for this race. And I'll show you that at the end. You know, I really should start to be more careful merging into traffic after that first hairpin. That's probably going to really hurt me at a certain point. Oh boy, I'm going to really have to be careful here. As I've said, that off-track cut, it's really difficult. Now, I could get off the gas a lot more, I could brake a bit, and all that would make it easier, but I need to get through it as fast as possible. So you really want to stay full throttle. There are times that I could be full throttle exiting the hairpin and not brake till this point. And that's really what I want to achieve every single lap. Because as you can see, this isn't looking too bad so far. Like, my timer's getting low every time, but as long as I'm close to the pack like this, then I'm going to get probably maybe an overtake here. Yep, one overtake here. And with the pack being so close, I'll probably get 5 or 6 overtakes at the hairpin. So let's just check this out here. 51, probably about 45 seconds by the time I go off track here. 45. Oh yeah, look at that. Whole bunch of overtakes. And that's how you want to merge. Really hugging the inside corner of that hairpin. See, look at this. You see how I've got to really be careful? Oh, look at that. That's an unusual pack. Ooh, almost hit him again. Well, obviously a different guy. This is the point of my sneak peek video. So this is where there's that pack of 4 cars ahead of me. And I am having to be careful. It does feel like, it feels like I could be a bit damaged. So I'm being careful through Beckett's Complex. Right here, Beckett's Complex, Chapel Curve, blast out of Chapel Curve. And then heading into Stowe. I really hate sliding out at Stowe, so you only need a very tiny braking point here, but if you get it wrong, you've got enough room to lift off the throttle before you go flying. Here I'm taking the careful cut because the bots are so closely grouped. Catch a bit of a toe, and nicely into lap 16. Oh my goodness. Now, I'm going to have to be very careful at the hairpin here because, what do? No, I'll take it easy. I think I can do it. Oh, look at that timer. Beautiful. Wow. Full timer. Okay, so this is looking good. But again, at any moment, oh, look at that. Full throttle, full throttle, full throttle. Can I stay full throttle? Nope, tiny lift. If I would merge traffic more to the left, I really could stay full throttle. But then I'm spending a little bit more time off track. So it's almost a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other type of a scenario. I do like to get back on track as soon as possible. I've really worked out that cut point and I'm pretty happy with it. Oh, okay, I thought I was going to slide out, but I did a good job with my trajectory. I really like that section. I used to hate Maggots and Beckett's Complex. That's where I would lose so much time during time trials. Now I seem to be doing pretty good, at least in this car. And some other cars, like super fast cars like Koenigsegg's, Bugattis, where they're super fast but not enough grip to really work with the speed, you got to have multiple braking points there, and that gets a little more difficult. Now my timer, you know, a lot of the time I'm at about 45 seconds here. I'm 15 seconds further ahead. Oh my gosh. Well, then why was I doing that? I don't know why I merged so badly. I didn't want to lose momentum, but tangle up like that, I'm pretty sure I've got maximum damage now. That was a big tangle up. Now, thankfully, that's why you have to stay aggressive. Always have to stay aggressive, aggressive, aggressive. So that when a mistake happens, your timer was full enough that it's of little consequence. So with 60 seconds on the clock, I'm doing great. I need to drive the rest of this lap really fast but clean. Like here, I can't afford to slide out. And I will not catch anyone else this lap. Hopefully on that last chicane, I get some decent catch up, and then I'll be nicely setting up that hairpin. So let's just see what happens here. Based on this, I could be around 20 seconds by the time I cross the line. No, maybe 25. Let's just see. 30... No, not even that low. Okay. So here we'll probably be about 45 seconds again at that point. So I'm not doing horrible, but oh, I only got 2 cars. And I think I'm too far back to catch them at this cut here. It's stressful. I find this race stressful. So why do I do it? Why don't I just do a bunch of individual lapped races, like cup races? Sometimes I do, but I'd almost rather be stressed out than bored. So I get really, really bored with regular farming. Like, I need to have a goal, or I don't really see the point. If the goal is just earning M currency, I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be enough for me. But definitely it's faster and easier to just do 9-lap cup races. You can be in the lead by the first hairpin if you take these cuts. And then you could try to lap everyone before the race ends, see how fast of a lap you could do. Or you could just not take any cuts at all, but even then, it's not that long before I'm in the lead. Oh, that's surprising. I wish there was more cars in front of me. Where'd they all go? Huh. Lap 19. Where'd everyone go? I'd really love to see 100 kilometers, but this is getting very difficult. Oh, and I went way over. I'm surprised they didn't get... You can kind of guess where the car is going to be behind you based on where the car is in front of you. But I don't think I'm going to get another car here. Oh, maybe I got him. I did get him, so that means I got to watch, because he'll be going really slow. Woo-hoo-hoo. Don't want to go off track, and don't want to hit the car. Fine balance. Come on, 100 kilometers. I've looked, and I've never seen anyone else get this far in this race. Regardless of the technique they're using, I've never seen anyone go this far. I checked YouTube, I couldn't find any videos. I believe this is the first documented run of hitting 100 kilometers in a 2020 Formula One car. So you're gonna see it here right away. It's the first time it's happened. If someone else has done it, well, I need proof, man. There we go, bing, 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 fire. 100 kilometers, monumental. But you might notice the bots are looking scarce, and that's because I had a couple of bad laps, and then they start to get grouped out a little bit further. This is making me very nervous. 30 seconds, 48, no, very nervous. Now I'm gonna need another car. I don't think... Oh gosh, this is making me nervous. Hopefully I get someone here. I got someone here, that's him. Okay, I've got enough to make it to the end of the lap, but boy... It looks like after maximum damage that this might be impossible. Or you'd have to drive a perfect lap every single time. And there's one thing you can learn, like Speed Junkie, a friend of mine, extremely good racer. He'll live stream his weekly time trial attempts, and those are sometimes a couple of hours long. Like, it takes an incredibly long time to nail a perfect lap. So what do you think the odds are of doing back-to-back perfect laps? Not just 2 of them, but 3, 4, 5, 6, like, exceptionally unlikely. Okay, so I'll catch another lap, but, yeah. I'm really happy with this, but you can tell, I mean, I'm not going to catch very many people at the hairpin, right? Let's see here. Oh, there's a nice grouping. 35, okay, can I get another one at this cut? I don't know. It's looking pretty... This is looking like the end is near. Although there's a nice group of bots. I got him. Beautiful, beautiful. 30 seconds? I don't know, man. I ain't feeling so positive now. I'm really happy at what I've accomplished. Again, I don't think anyone else has done this. If they had, then they didn't document it. Well, I mean, maybe someone put up a picture on some Facebook page or something, but you know, guys, pictures don't mean much. I'm sorry to say. That's why I'm giving you full video footage, because you and I know that pictures can easily be altered. I can make a picture say anything, and people hack the game and do all sorts of stuff. There's guys out there who put out YouTube videos. They show the beginning and the end of the race, nothing in between, and I guarantee you they hacked, because it's impossible, and they won't show the middle. Here you go. You saw the full thing. I didn't cheat. And look at that! 1,510.6 frame per minute. Way more than the Porsche 919 Hybrid Evo can get you. So, wow. Well, guys, thanks for joining. Here are different links. And 2021 cars are coming out right away, so let's see what those babies can do. Bye-bye.